Good afternoon. Welcome to Rusty's 100th birthday party. Rusty is a very valued member of VFW Post 276, and we're so glad to have him here today. What we're going to do right now is we're going to turn the program over to Annette Roy from the Quilts of Valor. Annette?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annette Roy. We have a group called the Quilts of Valor, who is part of the National Foundation of Quilts of Valor, that make quilts by hand, piecing, quilted, not tied, like your grandmother's quilt, if you think of it that way. All patriotic, beautiful quilts that we honor our veterans, wartime or peacetime, it matters not. We make these quilts, we run by donation, so if you feel it on your heart to make a donation, I gave the commander the information at some point to do that. A quilt can cost only somewhere between $250 to $400, just the top of it. But we are doing this as honor because we are all patriots and we all love our veterans as much as you all do too. But I stand before you today representing over 11,000 volunteers across America who do what we do in sewing the quilts. We're a nonprofit. It was started by Blue Star mom, Catherine Roberts, in 2003. She was asleep one night and she had a dream of a soldier. Her son had just left for Afghanistan. She was sleeping, she had a dream and saw a soldier sitting on the side of his bunk with his head downcast, with all his war demons around him, and thought, that boy needs a quilt, something to comfort him. And that is our mission. So she made a quilt, she sent it overseas, and he said, Mom, there are many more boys out here that need this too. So how about you do something about that? So she started a group, and now it's a national foundation, and makes a difference in a lot of lives. We've had some veterans tell us that a quilt that we had presented to them meant more to them than any quilt or any award that the government could have given them, because it came from the civilians that they protected. And of course, we totally honor them with that. So with that said, Private First Class Paul Johnston is an Army veteran with the discharge rank of E3. He served from 1944 to 1946 in the U.S. Army and served in World War II. Shortly after high school graduation, Rusty entered the United States Army. After normal training, he was sent to Okinawa, Japan. He calls himself a BAR, B-A-R, capital letters, man, which stands for Browning Automatic Rifle. That was one of the most sought-after targets of the enemy at the time. The soldier he replaced had been sadly killed in action. Rusty was wounded badly and spent the rest of his enlistment in the hospital, where he received several surgeries. The wounds healed but affected him for the rest of his life. The most interesting story happened after his discharge. He applied for dental school but was rejected due to his grades in high school. After all he'd been through, fighting in a war, defending his country, and receiving the Purple Heart, that deserves a round of applause. After receiving the Purple Heart, he went back to high school and repeated his senior year with kids not his age. He brought his grades up and then was accepted into dental school and became well known, as you all know, and loved dentist in our town. Private First Class Paul Johnston, we honor you and award you with this quilt of valor from a grateful nation. Ladies, if you would get the quilt. This quilt that we are about to show you was handmade by one of our members and his neighbor, Nancy Anthony. She's up here with the orange shirt on. You want to turn this way, ladies? Show the folks out here. So on this day of June 20th, 2026, Private First Class Paul Rusty Johnston, United States Army, World War II. The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it our privilege to do so. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, we award you this Quilt of Valor as an expression of gratitude from a grateful nation.
Such a nice one. Somebody did a lot of work.
You're worth it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Very, very much an honor to work on making this book for Rusty. As I said, he was my neighbor for a number of years, and
Yes.
we so enjoyed having him as a part of our little neighborhood. And such an honor to make it.
Great place to raise a family. Yeah. Thank you so much. My mother belonged to a lady's aid, and they were cooks. I remember she had a big frame set up in our living room, and the women would come and they would tie the quilt. One would be under it, and they'd pass the string through and pile a little knot. As a little kid, my mother always took me to the lady's aid meetings. My brother thought, you should have been Paul Lake, not Paul. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Annette, and all the ladies for the Quilts of Valor. Okay, at this time, Brian Smith, the state representative, is going to come up. So, Brian?
Thank you very much. I think before I start, I would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would all stand if you can. There's a flag over here to my left. If you can't see it, there's flags all around. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So Rusty, congratulations and happy birthday. I think it's awesome the amount of people that came today. We have a great community here in the journal forever. So anybody in the future will go back through this journal and they're going to read about you for eternity. The House of Representatives of Pennsylvania is always pleased to recognize those individuals who, through their wisdom and experience, have contributed to the enrichment and betterment of succeeding generations. Paul Byron Johnston is being congratulated upon the momentous occasion of his 100th birthday. Born in Smethport on June 20th, 1926, Mr. Johnston has demonstrated the highest ideals of citizenship through the years and truly deserves special recognition. the son of the late Harry and Roxy Smith Johnston, and the beloved husband of Beverly Johnston for 63 years prior to her passing. He is the proud father of 4 children and also has been blessed with 6 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. A graduate of Smethport High School, Mr. Johnston served his country with honor and distinction as a member of the United States Armed Forces. Known affectionately as Rusty to family and friends, he attended basic training at Camp Fannin in Texas and was stationed in Saigon and Okinawa. Following his service, Mr. Johnston attended the University of Pittsburgh and graduated from its School of Dental Medicine in 1953 before relocating to Punxsutawney and joining a local dental practice. Active in his community, he has been a member of the American and Pennsylvania Dental Associations, the 8th District Dental Association of Pennsylvania, and the University of Pittsburgh School of Dental Medicine. In addition, Mr. Johnston was involved in the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Local Masonic Lodge, Kiwanis International, Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, Corncob Club, Punxsutawney Area Hospital, and the S&T Bank Board of Directors, and the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club and its inner circle. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pays tribute to Paul Byron Johnston upon the joyous celebration of his 100th birthday. Notes with appreciation that he has generously contributed to the well-being of others, offers best wishes for every future happiness, and directs that a copy of this citation, sponsored by the Honorable Brian Smith on June 20th, 2026, be transmitted to Paul Byron Johnston of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Rusty. It's an honor.
I accept this honor on behalf of all those who have contributed to my life and to my successes. I owe my success to my fellow man. I've had a lot of very wonderful people live my life that have helped me with any accomplishment that I have made. And I truly, truly appreciate all of you who have contributed to my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. At this time, I want to introduce Scott North and Mark Humes, Jefferson County Commissioners.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, Mark. The other day, Mark said to me, we're going to go to Rusty's birthday party. Should we wear a coat and tie? And I said, it's for Rusty, absolutely. So we smartened up just for you, Rusty. I'm going to go. Can you hear me in the back? Yeah. I hate holding a microphone. Of course, I've known Rusty all of my life. Rusty was friends with my parents, Taylor and Eileen North. And often you've offered me kind words about your association with him, so I appreciate that, Rusty. But Rusty's been a staple of our community. And just being a part of this is an honor for us. And I am pleased to bring to you, Rusty, the respects and greetings of the County Commissioner's Office. Commissioner Jeff Pisarcik, our colleague, wanted very much to be here. He sends his regrets and his best wishes on your birthday. And we are all honored to have a role in this. We don't have the depth in time that the State House of Representatives or the State Senate have. I don't know that this will last in perpetuity, but it will last in our hearts as long as we're around.
Local control.
Absolutely. So if you'll endure for just a moment, I would like to share some of the Commissioner's collective remarks directed to, for, and about you, Rusty. The Commissioners of Jefferson County recognize and honor Paul Rusty Johnston for his many years of dedication and service to his country, commonwealth, and community. Rusty is and continues to be a shining example of the best that our county has to offer. From his service during the Second World War through his application of his professional skill as a venerated doctor of dental medicine to his commitment as a man of the people, the Commissioners of Jefferson County take great pride in thanking Rusty for his extensive contributions and join in his many well-wishers on this worthy occasion. And in complement to that, we have to have a certificate, of course. On behalf of the people of Jefferson County, the Board of Commissioners hereby proclaim June 20th, 2026 as Dr. Paul Rusty Johnston Day throughout Jefferson County, Pennsylvania, signed Jeffrey Pisarcik, Mark Humes, and myself with great honor. Rusty, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. That's wonderful.
I just wish I could be 1/10 of the man you are. You've done so much for the community and the people in Punxsutawney. We're proud of you, and thank you for everything you've done. I hope you have a very special and blessed birthday.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Excuse me. I've been blessed to be a citizen of Punxsutawney, the biggest little city in the world. Hard to believe it's so famous for a sand flea and a groundhog. But from the time we came to this town, we have been accepted as citizens of Punxsutawney and welcomed by all the people. It has been a wonderful life experience for me and my family to become residents and citizens of the town of Punxsutawney. So thanks to all of you for my wonderful life.
Thank you, Rusty, for allowing us to share in your wonderful life. At this time, I want to introduce Bill Clements, Mayor of Punxsutawney. Please come up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here, and good day, everyone. First time I met Dr. Johnston, I don't know if you remember. 1983, I just came here on the police department. You thinking about that? So anyway, I was walking in the alley, checking the door, and about the time I pulled on the door, it pushed open from the inside. And there it was. I think we were both a little startled when he introduced himself to me, and that was quite a few years ago. Do you remember? Remember that? Yeah, I didn't know who anybody was. The guy just came here, so I really didn't know who was who. But that was our first meeting. But we were gathered today to do something profoundly important, yet inherently difficult. It's important because the debts we owe to our veterans can never be overstated. It's difficult because mere words often feel incredibly small when measured against the magnitude of their service. When we look at Paul Rusty Johnston, we're not just looking at a friend, a family member, or neighbor. We're looking at a living piece of our nation's history, and more importantly, a pillar of character. Mr. Johnston, and to all veterans gathered here today, thank you for your service, and happy 100th birthday.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Mayor's Office of the Borough of Punxsutawney, I'd like to give you that little wall hanger for yourself there. Appreciation of your patriotic service. I'm not very good at this. You only need to have your driver's license. I don't think I ever yelled at too many people. Anybody remember? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up is Don Himes from the Masons.
I'm gonna talk back the follow over there. Thank you. Ed Boston, behave. I'm sure everybody in this room knows who the famous Ed Boston is. Brother Johnston, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, thank you.
Let me correct myself. Brother Johnston, past master. In honor of your 100th birthday, we have a certificate from the John W. Jakes Cobalt Lodge, number 276, free and accepted Masons of Pennsylvania. Let me give you a little bit of history about Brother Johnston. He entered the lodge in September 3rd, 1957. Progressed through the work of the lodge, went to an entered apprentice Mason status in September of 1957. Was raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason on November 26, 1957. And I'm sure me just speaking those words, he's probably remembering everything that happened. Brother Johnston progressed to become the worshipful master of the lodge in 1962. I am the current sitting district deputy of the 52nd Masonic District, in which Lodge number 276 is part of. And I can tell you, I believe that Rusty is one of the oldest past masters in our district. Truly one of the treasures of the district, people that we look to for guidance as younger members of the lodge. Rusty has been part of that group to mentor for perpetuity, if so be. All the lodges in the area, he's been a support to that and helped maintain and abide by all of our rights and privileges for members and helping to educate new members. So, Brother Johnston, past master, I have a certificate from the lodge with your information, your Masonic record on it. And I also need to steal you for a few minutes because I did contact the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge, and I have to call him. He would like to have a phone conversation with you if you so desire. All right. Thank you.
Calling from Ireland was a big
How about
surprise.
that?
I'm pretty sure everybody here knows what.
Everybody knows about
If you don't, you're lucky.
Well, you're missing something. That's awesome.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to invite Joy Parsons to come up, and she's going to speak on behalf of Rusty's family.
Thank you all for coming today. To celebrate my dad's birthday. He is truly, truly a treasure. I wrote a little story with my dad's help. He sat at a table one day and I picked his brain. So they've asked me if I want to read this so that you can all get to know his past in case you don't know it already. Born on June 20th, 1926 in Smethport, Pennsylvania, McKean County. His father, Harry, was a first-generation American, born of Irish parents. His mother, Roxy Smith, was a second-generation American, born of German parents. He had two older brothers, Gordon and John. Both served in the Army during World War II in Europe. While growing up in rural Pennsylvania, Rusty learned the value of hard work. As a child, during the Great Depression, he learned to do whatever he could to help provide for his family and neighbors. His family lived on a small farm where they raised chickens, bees for honey, and cows for milk. His father worked an oil lease and taught his sons to hunt. That, along with his mother teaching them how to have a strong vegetable garden, kept the family fed. When Rusty was about 7, his mother started teaching him to play the violin. It was something they could do together. His mother had been given 2 violins her family had brought to the United States from Germany. He continued to play into high school and was a member of the orchestra. He also learned the clarinet, which he played in the high school band. I just want to add a little side note. I didn't write this in here, but my father had the 2 violins refurbished a couple years ago and gave them to my 2 granddaughters who both play violin. So they are playing the over 100-year-old violins. I don't know, they must be a couple hundred years old. And they do a good job. In fact, they're going to play today for him. At 10 years of age, Rusty got a newspaper route. He also got 2 billy goats and a nanny goat. He milked the nanny goat and sold the milk. The community had a local baseball team. He played center field, pitcher, and catcher. When he was 12 years old, he started working on his dad's oil lease. Summers were spent working. During the school year, he worked weekends and after school when the daylight permitted. He was called a roustabout on the oil rigs. He was paid $3 a day, and his natural mechanical ability advanced him to the position of tool dresser, which required him to dress the tool bits for optimum drilling, to swing an 8-pound sledgehammer, and oil all of the machinery, including climbing the 40-foot mast to oil the crown pulley. His pay increased to $1 an hour. He worked as much as possible to the detriment of his school grades. He graduated from Smethport High School on June 6, 1944, D-Day. Before graduation at the age of 17, he attempted to join the aviation cadets, but was denied when it was discovered that he failed the color perception test. At that point, he decided to return home and work until he got drafted. In August of 1944, while raking hay with his mother, the postman walked up into the field with 2 envelopes. The one was a letter for his mother advising her that her middle son, John Francis, was seriously wounded in Normandy. The other letter was for Paul. The War Department was advising him to report for duty in a month. So on September 21st, 1944, he reported to Indiantown Gap in central Pennsylvania. He was there for 1 week before being sent to Camp Fannin in Texas. Basic training lasted for 13 weeks, shortened from 15 due to the Battle of the Bulge and the anticipated need for fresh troops. Upon completion of basic training, Paul's company was given orders to report to the state of Washington in 10 days. He made the decision to make a visit home by train to Cleveland and then continue on a bus to Bradford. While in Cleveland, he went to the USO to wait the 4 hours until the bus left. He checked his duffel bag and overcoat while he got something to eat. When it was time to get on the bus, he went to retrieve his belongings, only to find out that they had mistakenly been sent with another soldier who had been taken to a hospital. Not knowing which hospital, he boarded the bus for home with no coat or travel orders. Rusty spent New Year's with his parents, planning to leave by bus to head back to Washington for deployment. The weather had turned bad, and he waited in a blizzard for a bus that did not come. The next day, he went out and waited again. This time, the bus to Buffalo arrived, but he knew he would not make it to Washington on time. The train from Buffalo stopped in Kansas City, where he had to change trains, and while in Kansas City, his leave expired. Traveling with no orders and expired leave was considered AWOL. Unfortunately, there was a military provost at the train station, so Rusty turned himself in. The provost told him he was in serious trouble, but he would try to help. The provost made some phone calls, then wrote new travel orders to Fort Worth, California. At Fort Worth, Rusty was issued a new duffel bag along with the lost contents and was given new travel orders to Fort Lewis, Washington. At Fort Lewis, Rusty boarded a Navy transport as an advance party. They were responsible to make sure the ship was ready to receive the troops that were being sent to Pearl Harbor. Once in Hawaii, the troops disembarked near the Dole Pineapple plant. The company had a narrow gauge railroad that transported the men up the hill to the jungle training facility. Training lasted about 3 weeks and ended with another boat ride, this time on what was called a Liberty ship. Leaving Oahu, the ship headed to Saipan in the Mariana Islands. Saipan had more jungle training and patrols to search for Japanese troops that were still hiding in the mountains. They did find some time to swim in the ocean and used a submerged tank with the turret above the water for the perfect diving platform. After about a month in Saipan, the troops boarded another Liberty ship. However, even the captain of the ship didn't know the destination. His orders were sealed. Once out in the ocean, they joined a convoy and were told where they were headed: Okinawa. Where is Okinawa? They soon found out. On April 1st, 1945, they landed on the shore of Okinawa under heavy fire from the Japanese troops that occupied the island. With constant bombardment from the U.S. Navy, the American troops were able to quickly establish a beachhead near the tree line. The first foxholes were dug, and the men could get below ground level out of the line of fire. Squads and companies were fragmented and scattered during the initial assault. Reorganization was the next priority so the casualties could be counted and could be taken and replacement troops requested. Soon they moved farther into the island. Since the Navy had bombed the island, the jungle was non-existent. They moved from knoll to hill to tree, wherever a little cover could be found, digging foxholes when they could. About 2 weeks after landing, the soldier manning the BAR, the .30 caliber Browning automatic rifle, was killed. Rusty was assigned to take over the automatic weapon with an assistant to carry the ammo. On May 22, 1945, Rusty's unit was ordered to take a hill occupied by the Japanese. The mission was a success, but the Japanese were not ready to give up. On May 23, 1945, the Japanese counterattacked, proceeded by mortar and artillery fire to soften the American troops. The mortar round landed about 5 yards from Rusty. The fragments tore through his right shoulder, rendering his right arm useless. Smaller fragments burned through his shirt, burning his back. Rusty's assistant manned the BAR to stay in the fight, giving Rusty his rifle, which he carried back to the aid station. Rusty was taken to an evacuation hospital, which was a large trench in the ground covered by a tent along a runway. The night before the wounded were to be evacuated, the Japanese snuck onto the airstrip and placed incendiary devices on all of the aircraft, disabling every plane. The runway was cleared and new planes came to evacuate the wounded. Rusty was taken to the military hospital on Guam. Since there were no antibiotics available, only emergency surgery was done at that hospital. The wounds were stabilized and Rusty was flown to Honolulu General Hospital, where the wounds were cleaned, sulfa drugs applied, and rebandaged. Over the next 2 weeks, while waiting for the ship to take him to the mainland, the maggots got to work, eating the dead tissue from the wounds. A transport ship, the David W. Branch, took the non-critical wounded to Seattle, where they were admitted to Madigan General Hospital for surgery. Preliminary surgery was performed to stabilize his wounds so he could be transported by train to Woodrow Wilson Hospital, which is in Virginia. It was there that the major surgery was done. The shrapnel was removed, wounds cleaned, sulfa drugs administered, and allowed to heal from the inside. His scapula fused itself while his arm was immobilized in an airplane splint. He learned to write left-handed while undergoing rehabilitation. Camp Upton on Long Island, New York would be the final stop on his rehabilitation and eventual discharge. January 25th, 1946 would be the beginning of Rusty's new life. Realizing he couldn't go back to work on the oil lease, he needed a new plan. Bob Deagle, the president of the school board in Smethport, stopped at the Johnston's home with an offer. He suggested that Rusty repeat his senior year of high school so his GPA would be improved. Rusty had applied to Bonaventure College but was denied and told he was not college material. So he accepted the offer to repeat his senior year and graduated in 1947 with a much improved GPA. Because of his admiration for his dentist, Dr. Livermore, Rusty decided to apply to the University of Pittsburgh with the intention of getting into their dental school. Fall semester of 1947, Rusty started his undergraduate studies at Pitt. He needed 50 credits to get into the dental school. He found a farm owned by Mr. and Mrs. Owen Blackwood where he could live and work while attending school. September 1949, Rusty started dental school, joined the dental fraternity, and moved into the Delta Sigma Delta house. While Rusty was at dental school, his cousin Violet, a student nurse, was doing an affiliation at Children's Hospital. The dental frat house and the student nursing house were on the same street. That made it convenient for them to visit often. During one visit, Violet's housemate, Beverly Little, was there. She was wearing a beautiful red dress and caught Rusty's eye. Soon he was visiting Beverly instead of Violet. Their first date was a drive in Rusty's red Pontiac convertible on the PA Turnpike, eastbound from Irwin and back. They were accompanied by two of his frat brothers and their dates. All three couples eventually married and remained lifelong friends. Rusty and Beverly were married April 12, 1952. He had one more year of dental school, and Beverly had finished nursing school and was an RN at Montefiore Hospital, which was close to the dental school. Rusty had found an apartment on the third floor of a house owned by the Kaufmans, a Jewish family in the East Liberty section of Pittsburgh. Upon Rusty's graduation from Pitt Dental School in 1953, they decided to move to Punxsutawney because there was a practice there in need of a dentist. Beverly was able to get a nursing job at the Adrian Hospital. Tom Cressley, a local dentist, offered them a third-floor apartment for temporary housing. May 1954, Rusty and Bev welcomed their first child, a daughter, Cindy. 2 years later, a daughter, Joy. 2.5 years later, their first son, Paul Byron II. And 4 years later, a second son, John J. As would be expected, a generation later, grandchildren, Brandy, Braden, Miranda, Paul B., Ian, and Anna. And now, great-grandchildren, Maddie, Rowan, Kayla, Mackenzie, Walker, Everett, Gray, Jaden, and Hudson. Through his career, Rusty was very dedicated to the advancement of dentistry. He was active in the ADA, PDA, as well as the 8th District Dental Association of Pennsylvania and Pitt Dental School. He worked to educate and initiate the fluoridation of public drinking water. Rusty was involved in many civic organizations, including the VFW, Masonic Lodge, Kiwanis Club, Elks, Corn Cob Club, Punxsutawney Hospital, the S&T Bank Board of Directors. He spent over 50 years of voluntary service to the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club and the Inner Circle. Through it all, Rusty's faith in God has been the cornerstone in his life. He often says, I can't ask God for anything else because he has already given me so much. I have had a wonderful life. His family, his love for Punxsutawney, and his love of America were the driving forces in his life. You will be hard pressed to find a more family-oriented and patriotic man. And he still lives in his own home.
Okay, I want to just thank everybody for their attendance and for their well wishes and just being my friends. Life without friends is not much of a life, and I have been blessed to have many friends, as well as a wonderful family. I have so much to be thankful for my life, and I attribute it to the folks that I have had around me. They have all been such kind and friendly people. I once was asked why I came to Punxsutawney, and I told them that I came here because the people were so nice and friendly, among other things. And they said, do you really think so? Well, I really think so. And I thank each and every one of you for your well wishes and for your attendance here today. I wish all of you a long and healthy life as I have had. And just remember, family, country, community are all extremely important. And live to be good citizens. I appreciate all of you coming today and celebrating my birthday. I know not a lot of people get that opportunity, but God is good to some people. I can't say why, but He has always been wonderful to me. And I thank you all again. It's been a wonderful celebration of my birthday. And I thank each and every one of you for being a part of it. So God bless, and everybody stay well. Thank you.
Let's take one big giant picture. Come down. Let's see how we do. Larry, there's something on your phone. Get down. All right. Everybody see me? Can't see you. I see you. All right, here we go.
Thank you.